Welcome to BOJTV Trending News. For top stories in local, regional and international news, along with sports and local weather forecast, I'm Carla. Coming up in our local trending news, $23.5 million in newly renovated Homestead Place of Safety in St. Andrew to be reopened tomorrow. Independent Commission of Investigations granted leave to go to Privy Council for decision on power of arrest. Trelawny brothers charged for assaulting cop at Falmouth Police Station. And deadline for voluntary transfer of voter registration is Friday, June 28. Now the news. The newly renovated Homestead Place of Safety in Stonehill, St. Andrew will be officially reopened tomorrow, Friday, June 21. The facility will now cater to the holistic needs of approximately 44 girls in state care, ranging from ages 12 to 18 years. The facility was one of three slated for renovation within the 2018-2019 fiscal year. The scope of the work, which saw the entire facility be renovated, currently provides a more comfortable living arrangement for the residents. It includes 11 bedrooms with 44 bed spaces, shower areas, lobby area, classrooms, restrooms, stores and clothing room, and other amenities. The project was funded at a costing of $23.5 million. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom has been granted leave to go to the Privy Council for a final decision on whether it has the power to arrest, charge or prosecute. Final leave was granted by the Court of Appeal on Monday. Indicom's application for leave to apply to the Privy Council followed the March 2018 judgment by the court that the agency's powers are limited to investigations and its officers have no power of arrest, charge or prosecute. While granting permission, the appeal court has refused an application by Indicom for the agency to be allowed to resume arresting, charging or prosecuting police officers pending the Privy Council's decision. Cases being investigated by Indicom are now referred to the Director of Public Prosecution for ruling. Two Trelawny brothers who were arrested for breaking a police officer's arm at the Falmouth Police Station in Trelawny on the weekend have now been officially charged. They have been identified as Michaela Jackson, 23 years old, a carpenter of Clarkstown, Trelawny, and his younger brother, Demar, 20-year-old, of the same address. Both men were charged on Wednesday with assault occasioning bodily harm. They are booked to appear in the Trelawny Parish Court on July 10. Reports are that on the weekend, the Trelawny police carried out an operation in Clarkstown where the brothers and two other men were detained. While being processed at the Falmouth station, they reportedly attacked a police constable and fractured his right arm. The Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, is reminding registered voters that the deadline to apply for a transfer of voter registration for the November 30, 2019 voters list is Friday, June 28. Transfers for voters who apply after this deadline will not be completed before May 2020. The transfer process is simple and only requires the elector visit to the EOJ constituency office and apply for a transfer of registration. This must be done at the office in the constituency where the elector currently resides. After successful processing, the elector's particulars are transferred from the previous polling division to the new one in which he or she now resides. The elector's new home address will then be published on the new voters list. A transfer of registration is necessary for electors who have changed address since they registered to vote. Transfer of voter registration, or what some persons call transferring your vote, simply refers to moving an elector's registration from one polling division to another, whether within the same constituency or within another constituency. The law requires that electors vote in the polling division in which they reside. Therefore, persons who change their address since registering the vote are encouraged to have their registration transferred to the new polling division and new constituency as necessary in which they live. Having applied for the transfer, there is a 3-month waiting period before processing takes place. Then a team from the electoral office, accompanied by scrutineers representing the political parties, one from the Jamaica Labour Party and one from the People's National Party, visit the residence to verify that the applicant resides at the new address given. Members of the public are being advised that there will be traffic changes along major thoroughfares on Sunday, June 23, to facilitate the state funeral for the late former Prime Minister Edward Seaga. The funeral will be held at the Cathedral of the Most Holy Trinity, 1 George Headley Drive, Kingston, commencing at noon, with interment to follow at National Heroes Park. The police have advised that there will be road closures, limited access and traffic diversions for the funeral service and burial. South Camp Road between Marion Road in front of the traffic court and East Queen Street and all roads leading on will be closed to vehicular traffic from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Only persons attending the funeral will have access. Jamaican Urban Transit Company JUTC buses and the general traffic traveling from Up Park Camp will be diverted onto Marion Road to use Upper Elliston Road, Victoria Avenue, East Queen Street on their outward journey. Traffic travelling from the direction of East Queen Street or Victoria Avenue intending to use South Camp Road will not be allowed. JUTC buses that normally use South Camp Road will instead travel along Victoria Avenue, Upper Elliston Road, Marion Road, back to the South Camp Road. The general public, however, will use whichever road is applicable. North Street between South Camp Road and Church Street and all roads leading on will be closed to vehicular traffic. Access will only be given to motorists attending the funeral. East Street will be closed between North Street and South Heroes Circle and all roads leading on, and Duke Street between Charles Street and South Heroes Circle and all roads leading on. In addition, Morosca Road between Caledonia Road and Duke Street at South Heroes Circle and all roads leading on will be closed to vehicular traffic. Buses will be at the National Heroes Park to shuttle mourners to the funeral. Residents of Almond Town and Kingston Gardens are to exit and enter their communities by using Arnold Road, with a special accommodation to be made in cases of emergency. Those are the top stories making local trending news. Now join us for news from across the region, as well as our international stories, sports and local weather forecast. From across the region, the United States today listed Jamaica among several Caribbean countries which it said were not in compliance with the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking in persons, the TIP. Of the Caribbean countries listed in the 2019 Trafficking in Persons report, only the Bahamas and Guyana fully met the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking. Washington said the authorities in Nassau and Georgetown continued to demonstrate serious and sustained efforts during the reporting period, and as a result, the two Caribbean Community CARICOM countries remained at Tier 1. But the report noted that Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Belize, Jamaica, Haiti, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Suriname and Trinidad and Tobago had been placed at Tier 2. In the case of Jamaica, the State Department said while Kingston is making significant efforts to deal with the TIP, it still does not fully meet the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking. It said the efforts undertaken by the government included investigating and prosecuting more suspected traffickers, achieving a swift conviction that included prison time, and publishing its first annual report on trafficking in persons in Jamaica. The government also increased funding for anti-trafficking efforts. However, the government did not meet the minimum standards in several key areas. Increased funding did not result in improved protection for victims or increased accountability for traffickers. On the international scene, Iran made a very big mistake in shooting down a U.S. military surveillance drone over the Strait of Hormuz. President Donald Trump says, however, he told reporters it could have been the result of human error, saying, "I find it hard to believe it was intentional." Iran said the drone had violated Iranian airspace, but the U.S. military denied this. The incident comes amid escalating tensions between the two countries. Iran's Foreign Minister Javid Zafar said Iran would take its complaint that the U.S. encroaches on our territory to the UN. Speaking at the White House, he called the drones downing a new fly in the ointment. Mr. Trump said that it was documented that the unmanned drone had been over international waters and not in Iranian airspace. Over in our sporting news, the Reggae Boys took to the field for the first time yesterday since their 3-2 victory over Honduras in their opening 2019 CONCACAF Group C Gold Cup fixture inside Kingston National Stadium on Monday night. They arrived in Houston on Tuesday evening and were back at work at the Episcopal High School yesterday for a morning session conducted under humid conditions, which necessitated numerous water breaks in an effort to keep the players hydrated. It was a highly intensive half-field tactical sessions that appeared to have gone very well, as no player pulled up with any knocks or bruises. Even Michael Hector and Leon Bailey, who are recovering from slight injuries, pulled through unscathed. Jamaica leads the group with 3 points ahead of El Salvador on a goal difference, with Honduras and Curacao occupying the cellar positions without a point. Jamaica face El Salvador on Friday inside the BBVA Compass Stadium at 6 p.m. before Honduras and Curacao engage each other 2.5 hours later. On your local weather forecast, insignificant feature high-pressure ridge across Jamaica. Additionally, there is a low-level jet stream across the central Caribbean. The high-pressure ridge and the low-level jet stream will remain across the island today. Friday morning, expect a tropical wave to move across the island. The ridge then quickly rebuilds by late Friday evening. The ridge and the low-level jet stream remains across the island into the weekend. Windy conditions persist across the island. This afternoon's forecast will see partly cloudy skies mainly across hilly inland areas, otherwise sunny and windy. Tonight, fair and windy. Maximum temperature expected for Kingston as well as Montego Bay today is 34 degrees Celsius. That was BOJTV's trending news with the top local, regional and international stories, as well as sports report and weather forecast. Until next time, I'm Carla. Thanks for watching.